Another thing I was fascinated with this particular piece was the shadow.
Can you talk about why you decided to go about working with these electronic instruments?
Okay, so the missing panelist and performer this evening is Nicholas Van Young, who is the designer and really inventor of our tap instruments that we were dancing on throughout the show. If you want to go to the archives and watch last Thursday's talk, we were really silly and showed you guys how they worked. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about why I wanted to work with Nicholas and the stuff that he was working on, because essentially the solo that you saw me do is a recreation of what he originally invented for himself as a soloist. And what I, of course, always dreamed of doing, which he also always dreamed of doing, was doing a full-scale production with that idea. When Nicholas used to do his solo that you saw me attempt here this evening, he had everything by him. So he'd have a looping station, he'd have different sets for different instruments, and it just clutters the stage and you don't get to see the full breadth, nor can you connect with the dancer as well. So what we experimented with in this show was the use of the Wii remote from a Nintendo Wii. So you saw, I used one, Aaron Marcellus, our incredible vocalist, also used one. He loops 2 new compositions every single night live, and it's phenomenal and such a joy. Every single night, brand new, and it's so exciting to be a part of that. Yeah, Aaron. Another really incredible thing that came about when collaborating with these musicians, Greg Richardson, like 3/4 of the way through the process, our bass player, started working with this pedal. So that's another really exciting live element, is playing Greg's composition with him, both live and looped. So that's actually a really interesting combination of the two, while we're playing things live while he's looping over and then playing over that himself. So, and you know, things don't go perfectly every night. You guys got lucky.
Did you look for musicians who already worked with this kind of technology, or did you? No.
We just wanted to be with our friends who are geniuses. So, yeah, I love with all of my heart both Greg and Aaron, and my dancers who are also musicians, and my brother who was the controllerist, which is a word, and also playing piano and played drums. You know, he just got thrown into everything. He's my baby brother. Thanks, dancers. But no, Greg and I played in an indie rock band together and toured like Europe and Australia. But I played bass and he played drums. Is that ridiculous? I don't really play the bass. But I feel very fortunate to have gotten to know Greg at the time of my life when I did. And Aaron Marcellus, who's like world-class vocalist, was like this humble student in my tap class, and I would never have known, except for one day he sang a little something, and I was like, what? You know, and found out he was on American Idol and blah, blah, blah. But I think we all really enjoy spending time together as people, and we also admire each other as artists. So we didn't seek out anyone that was familiar with the technology. People just got used to it. I mean, the loop that Aaron and Karita do every evening came about casually in a rehearsal setting. The two of them were just vibing off of one another's energy, and I was like, this is a part of this evening. This is a part of the show. Those are the kinds of things that happen with when you have artists that you trust. And they're also very intuitive musicians, and they're interested in working with us as tap dancers and respect us as musicians as well. And I think that's, rather than seeking someone out that isn't familiar, I think, and also we have, you know, brilliant musicians as friends, so we're just very lucky.
So let's go ahead and talk about your other collaborator, the B-girl we're seeing tonight.
Oh, yeah. So much more than just a B-girl. A Sherry.
Can you talk about your decision to work with her?
We actually met many years ago. We were both on faculty at Broadway Dance Center, but then we really became very good friends on a show choreographed by Derek Grant, Imagine Tap, back in 2006. And ever since, we've been interested in collaborating. And it really wasn't until now that an opportunity provided itself. And I speak a little bit about this in the literature in the program, but the nature of this music and the nature of what we're doing as dancers, this was the project that made the most sense to bring a frat into. And I think the direction that we're going in with the range of movement that we have available to us, it was really important to have her influence in our lives right now as well, just artistically. I can speak
Can you say that what that means to you to have her influence in your lives?
Efrat has so many styles, really like virtuosically at her fingertips. Like she's an incredible B-girl, which we say break dancer, but that's not really what they say. Just in case you guys don't know that, they say B-girl. Yeah, B-boying or B-girling, breaking, but not break dancing. So we should just know that. It should be in the archives. I don't know if anyone's said it on tape before. But and she's an incredible house dancer and trained classically in ballet and modern before that. And you know, she has whacking and voguing and so much influence and African influence, a lot of influence in her dancing and movement. And the way she incorporates that into her improvisational work is astounding and really dynamic and really interesting and really emotional. And I think a lot of the dancers that I work with are multiform dancers, and watching them, of course, explore up until this point and then further. You know, I think none of us are afraid of falling. We all just put a hand down and sort of roll into something. Warren had this like unbelievable fall last night. I like heard his bones hit the floor in the middle of this piece. And I was just like, was he okay? And they were like, yeah, he was very Warren about it, just kind of rolled out of it. And I think that's in part, you know, Warren's, you know, he's very enigmatic, and I think that's part of his artistry. But I also think Efrat has a really great influence on the way we're being freer with our bodies.
I'm fascinated by the duet.
I really like playing with like a staggered rhythm between two people, so that they can embody a single rhythmic idea, but literally staggering the execution of the notes or percussive sounds between the two of them. And I like the interplay that can create with physical interlocking and unlocking. Okay, you guys, this is Erin Marcellus.
Yeah.
Back there, Donovan Dorrance. Okay, come on. So, give him a little something. So basically, Erin has a function that we've assigned. You can assign something to every single button on this. And for those of you who are familiar with this, there are quite a few. Up, down, left, right, A, B, the little teeny start button in the middle. Like, you can assign a value. Actually, you can also assign values, and you might have noticed me using this, the XY axis and pitch, and you can assign something to everything. So basically, Erin's use of his effects are his choices artistically. We just really trust him, and it's beautiful.
Somewhere over the rainbow, somewhere over the rainbow, somewhere over the rainbow, somewhere. Somewhere over the rainbow, somewhere over the rainbow, somewhere over the rainbow, somewhere over the rainbow.
Oh, and do that again.
Somewhere.
Thank you, Erin. Thanks, Donovan. I feel like there's so many different directions that innovation could happen and is happening. I mean, one is simply technical, and there's not a tremendous mass awareness or understanding of tap technique, and that's something we're interested in changing. When I was here directing the tap program, we were lucky enough to do an interview with Sam Weber, who's a master technician, a masterful dancer, to explain the nuances of relaxed technique, which is something, you know, a lot of us understand what a turned out foot is and a sickled foot looks like, and we understand the basics of ballet technique, but we don't understand a lot of the nuances of tap technique or basics of tap technique. So there's so much technical innovation happening. That's really exciting. And then there's a lot of people just having their own individual stylistic innovations, and I think that's always been present in tap's history, but I think there is more of a spotlight on it now. I'm excited about all of those directions and about the incredible dancers in the world. There's so many unbelievable dancers out there, and really cutting edge dancers as tap dancers. And I'm excited for more of the world to get to know more of them. I love seeing a group of very different dancers dance in unison, and I also love seeing them explore their own ideas. That's really important to me. And I really value each of those dancers. And I don't think any of us for even a second could do what Efrat does, so she had to come do what she does. They each bring something unique and different, and the energy is really important. Some of them are dancers I've known since they were young. Some, like Karita Griffith, I've just admired for, you know, my entire 20-something through adult life. And something I didn't explore so much in this, and not even so much in the Blues Project last year, that I love working with and exploring is character work. And I like abstract narrative. I love specific narrative, but I love abstract narrative and like different emotional journeys based on a very specific individual dancer's quality of movement and what they sort of evoke naturally. And so I'm really interested in exploring that with the very unique dancers that I work with, and hopefully we'll get to soon.
So we're looking forward to staying with you on your journey, and
Thanks,
we've
Suzanne.
been thrilled to have you here with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.